All right, let's get right into it. So you did it. You went through all the hoops and you finally secured that prized KIADB industrial plot. That's a huge step. But now what? How do you actually turn that plot of land into a fully funded, roaring-to-go industrial project? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack right now.
So, does this scenario sound a little too familiar? You walk into a bank, you're fired up about your project, and then they hit you with the big question. What about collateral? They want you to pledge extra property, maybe something personal. And for so many entrepreneurs, that's where the dream just stops. But what if I told you there's a way to get around that requirement completely?
I want you to meet your new best friend, the CGTMSE. Now, this isn't just some random government scheme. For anyone with a KIADB plot, this is a total game changer, especially with the huge updates they've rolled out for 2026. It is literally designed to solve that exact collateral problem we were just talking about.
Okay, let's get to the good stuff, the part everyone wants to know about, the money. The scheme has been beefed up in a major way, and honestly, the numbers are seriously impressive. This is the point where your industrial dream starts to feel very, very real.
Yup, you're seeing that right. 10 crore rupees. That's the new maximum loan you can get with this guarantee. And let's be clear, this isn't some small incremental increase. This is a massive leap that makes building a substantial, modern industrial unit on your KIADB land a completely realistic goal.
So how does this whole thing work? It's pretty clever, actually. The CGTMSE Trust, they don't hand you the money directly. What they do is give a guarantee to the bank. And look at this. For women entrepreneurs, they guarantee up to 90% of the loan. What this does is it basically takes almost all the risk off the bank's shoulders, which makes them way, way more likely to look at your project and say, you know what? Yes, let's do this.
Now, of course, nothing's ever completely free, right? You do pay a small fee to the trust called the annual guarantee fee. The best way to think of it is like a little insurance premium. You're paying them to take on the risk for you. So if you look for a loan between 1 and 2 crore, it's about 1.2%. I mean, come on, that is a tiny price to pay for not having to put your own house or property on the line.
Okay, so the numbers are looking fantastic. But the next big question on your mind is probably, all right, this is great, but do I even qualify? And that is a crucial question. So let's run through the main requirements to see if you're in the game.
The rules are actually pretty straightforward. First, your company has to be a micro or small enterprise, an MSE. Second, and this one is a big deal, it's non-negotiable, you need a valid UDIM registration. That's your official government ID as a small business. Most manufacturing and service units that get KIAD plots are a perfect fit. Just know that things like agriculture are out. Oh, and of course, make sure you have your IDED PAN handy.
Now this right here, this is the secret sauce for KIADB plot owners. It's a feature called hybrid security. And what it means is that your KIADB land itself serves as the main or primary security. Then, for everything else you need, the factory building, the machinery, the day-to-day working capital, the CGTMSE guarantee swoops in and covers that gap. So, no need to pledge your personal assets. It's a perfect fit.
All right, let's talk about what I think is the single most important part of this whole process. You've got the land, you know you're eligible, but how do you actually convince a bank that your project is a surefire winner? The answer lies in one document, your detailed project report, or what everyone calls the DPR.
I really want this to sink in. Your DPR is not just a bunch of paperwork you have to fill out. It's your story. It's your business plan. It's your financial roadmap. It's your sales pitch. It's everything, all rolled into one. A killer DPR doesn't just get you the loan. It gets the bank genuinely excited to be a part of what you're building.
So what goes into one of these winning DPRs? It follows a really clear, logical flow. You kick things off with a powerful summary, then you dive into the nitty-gritty, the technical details of your plot and building. After that, you show them you've done your homework with a solid market analysis. And then you get to the core, exactly how much it's going to cost and your financial projections for the next 5 years.
Okay, this table you're seeing, this is the heart of your proposal. It's probably the very first thing the bank manager is going to look at. It tells them exactly where every single rupee is going and, even more important, where that money is coming from. And you see that split? You put in your 25% and you're asking the bank for 75% under the CGTMSE scheme. It's a clean, confident way to present your plan.
Now, when the bank is digging into your financial projections, they are going to zero in on one specific ratio. It's called the DSCR. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. It just answers a simple question. For every 1 rupee you have to pay the bank each month, how many rupees in profit are you actually making? And the magic number they want to see is anything above 1.25. That tells them you've got a healthy safety net and can easily make your payments.
And hey, here are a few pro tips just for 2026. Make sure you mention if you're taking advantage of the new vertical growth policies to build a taller factory. Banks love that because it increases your asset value. Definitely highlight any green stuff you're doing, like installing solar panels. Always attach formal, up-to-date quotes for your machinery, no guesstimates. And finally, just add a little note that the mortgage clearance from KIADB is all in hand. It shows you're prepared.
So, you've got the knowledge, you've got the plan, now what? Let's quickly walk through the final steps to actually get this done. The good news is the application process itself is actually very streamlined.
The most important thing to get here is that you don't apply to the CGTMSE guys directly. You just work with your bank. You take your awesome DPR and submit it to them. If they like your project, they are the ones who go and handle the CGTMSE application on their end. Once the guarantee comes through, you pay that small fee we talked about, and boom, the money gets released to you. It's really that simple.
So let's just do a quick recap of the absolute must-knows. First, that new 10-core limit is a complete game changer. Second, your success or failure really comes down to the quality of your DPR. Make it great. Third, that hybrid security feature is tailor-made for your situation. And finally, before you do anything else, make sure your UDIM registration is sorted. With the power of this 2026 CGTMSE scheme, that KIADB plot you have isn't just a piece of land anymore. It's a launch pad. The funding is there for the taking, and the path forward is clear. So really, the only question left to ask is your blueprint ready to go?